What's up, guys? It's your boys from Madden.com, and today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite routes in the entire game. It's something that's very underused. I don't really see anybody running this play, but I've been using it since like the first week of August, ever since really the beta came out. And this is in the Oakland Raiders gun tight doubles. Very popular playbook. If you guys want to supplement this play with all my other plays, you can find my gun tight double scheme on acemadden.com. And I go over, so zig under is what we're going over today. That's one of my favorite plays in the game. We do talk about mesh spots, tight end curl, halfback angle, Z spot, flood drive. All of those are good plays with multiple setups. So if you guys want to supplement your Oakland Raiders playbook with more gun tight double setups, check that out. And then one more plug. Fancy just dropped his gun trips tight end scheme on the site, and he is the best gun trips tight end user in the entire game. He just won Mudhead Friday Night Football. He's one of the only people who's excelling at passing right now. He has the best dots. He's got all the personnel figured out. One thing I will say is you do kind of need a tight end apprentice for some extra routes, you know, like the corner and the post route. So if you're going to buy it, just keep that in mind, because I don't want you guys to be in a CFM where you don't have access to George Kittle or something and you just can't run the full scheme. But if you're on Mutt or something like that, this is the most high-powered passing offense in the game right now. So if you're interested in that, acemadden.com. With all that out of the way, let's talk about the play. So zig under. Personnel-wise, we're going to have our best receiver here unless he's slow. So if you have like an Allen Robinson, someone who's not very fast, you're not going to want to put him here. You're going to want to put someone with speed, because this post route isn't sharp. You do need a little bit of speed to get separation if you do not have post specialist. For your other two receivers, it doesn't matter too much, to be honest with you. You know, you can just have good guys out there or speed, whatever you prefer. Tight end, I have Travis Kelce, but he's not really running a route. He's just, I mean, he is running a route, but it's just a streak to push everything back more often than not. So he just needs to have like 84-ish speed. That should be enough to clear everything out for you. Okay, so zig under, random play. And I'm going to go over a few different setups. So I just saw the safety came down. By the way, this play works versus like pretty much every single coverage. That's why I did random play. We're going to do our max protect setup because the safety came down. So we're going to block our running back. And then what we're going to do after that is we're going to motion block X, and that's our first setup. What we have here is my favorite route, which is the return route. It's basically a backwards zig where he comes back to the middle of the field and he gets separation versus man coverage every time. And then the post route is going to get behind everything. So kind of a basic concept here. As you can see right there, the return route is going to get separation. It's just such a hard route to guard because, first of all, you don't really see it often. And then it also times up well with the post. You can't man it up. You really kind of have to user it. So that's why we have other routes that will help us out. So we're going to not motion block X this time. We're going to put him on a zig. The reason we do this is because versus zone coverage, as soon as he kind of goes inside, he's going to be open versus pretty much every single zone. It's almost like a hitch before he breaks out. So you can kind of throw it immediately. And versus man coverage, depending on the cornerback that's manned up on him, he's going to win that. So let's go ahead and look here. So you see right here, boom. It's kind of like a hitch. You can just throw it immediately. So if they're blitzing you and you got to get the ball out quickly and they're maybe trying to use the return route, that's something you could throw really quickly. So right there, the linebacker or defensive end, I'm not sure which one it was, zoned out, and he kind of guarded it immediately. Let's go ahead and motion block here. Goes the post. We give someone like Tyreek Hill, develops very quickly. Right here we'll do the zig. So just like that, easy 3 yards. I know it's not much, but that's when he's going to be open versus even a hard flat. I mean, he comes in and he'll be open. So go ahead and we'll motion block here. The flat defended him pretty well until he had to kind of cut back in further. So you've seen a couple of the setups. I'm going to do the motion block one more time because I think that guy's blitzing. He is. Could have hit the post, but hit the return instead. I pretty much assume the post is going to be covered. I mean, I don't want you guys to not look at the post, but that's usually the route that people use to get big plays. And I think over the past few years, people have kind of become conditioned to defending those kind of routes, you know, like deep crossers and posts. They're still very good and they're still necessary, but users are really kind of looking for that. Just like that, you could throw that immediately. So let's talk about a few more setups. So one of my favorite things to do from a compressed set is to streak A, slant B, block. Well, this isn't every compressed play, but this is a concept that I like in compressed formations. Zig X, leave Y on his post, streak A, and then slant B. The concept I'm talking about is motioning out an outside receiver in a compressed set and slanting him, because we get really good spacing. The streak clears things out and we can kind of quick throw that slant if there's no user over there, regardless of. Usually low ball it. That's just a quick throw, but you don't have to throw it quick. But if they're blitzing you, they're a blitz heavy person, you have that as a quick option. So right here, should have gotten separation, to be honest with you. He usually gets separation. Boom, here we go. Don't have to low ball it if you don't want to. But it's such a quick throw. I love it. Right here, let's go ahead and motion block. Post was wide open. Hit the return instead. I mean, the post would have been a touchdown, but here we go. He's actually getting guarded pretty well. That slant usually gets open versus, you know, man or match coverage. But he'll get across because the zig will suck things down for you. There's the post. You can also, you know, get creative with this play, guys. There's so much you can do. Like motion him over, put him on a streak. Now we're free to do what we want with Travis Kelce. Maybe put him on a drag. Go and block our running back. Now we do have 4 eligible receivers on the right, so keep that in mind. But I mean, this setup works. The only thing is the drag is only going to be open like immediately over the middle of the field, because look what happens. So right here, he's not open because they have some kind of zone coverage that is ready to like almost like a shaded down hook or a 3-rack or something. That is going to kind of play it better. But this is the part of the field where he'll be open. But once he crosses over here, there's no other route over here. So like these zones are going to kind of come down on the drag immediately. So just keep that in mind when you do that setup. What else I like to do? You can do something like streak X so we can push zones back on that side. Do something like this maybe. You don't have a clear out anymore over there, but we do have the ability to hit the drag now because we're clearing it out. And then if they use the drag, we have the return route and the post over the middle. Now once the post cross, so keep this in mind. So the setup we just ran where I said the drag is the only thing going over there, so zones are going to crash on him. The same thing applies here. So we're not pushing back the zones. So what's going to happen is we have to throw the post over the middle before he really gets over there, because a deep zone will actually play him. So if you do this setup, you're really looking for the drag and the return. Just like that. That's kind of get the user to focus on the drag a little bit more. Right here, if I see this kind of look, I'm usually pretty inclined to motion block. Really don't like getting... God, that pressure still got there. Don't like getting hollered at from 146. I mean, Jair's is freaking balling out right now. He's going to get open versus most corners. And if you have post specialists, he'll get open every single time. There you go. There's a touchdown. I'm trying to think of some other setups that I like to do. So you do have a tight end and a running back on the same side, so you can always do something like this. You know, wheel your running back, motion this guy out. Do something more like streak Y, out route B, hitch X. You can do something like this, of course. Look for Y to be open immediately. You also have an amazing route combo on the right. Just go ahead and low ball that. That's something you can do. You're kind of making a more compressed trips tight end when you do this. Here's the setup again. Make sure you wheel that running back. There you go. Throw it to the tight end. There's just so much you can do with this play, guys. I mean, I'm sure if I stayed in practice mode for another hour or two, I would find like 5 more setups that are usable. They have like certain use cases. Not every single setup is equal to every other setup in this play, because there are definitely setups that are just better. But there are use cases for a lot of different setups you can do out of this play. One thing I also want to mention is you don't have to keep the post. I recommend keeping the post and the return route, because that's what makes the play. But you don't have to keep them. So like, for instance, let's say you wanted to really just kind of flood the shit out of the middle. You could, you know, put Y on a curl, and then you can do, you know, motion out X, and then what we're doing is we're really just looking at 3 routes. We're looking at the drag, the return, and the curl. So you can do something like this. And we're really just kind of flooding the middle and making it really hard. You don't have to put, I don't honestly know the best route to put X on in this setup, but the whole point of it is just to really focus on attacking the middle with the drag, return, and the curl. You could, I don't know, maybe do something more like this maybe. You don't really want to throw it to that, but there you go. There's a return. I hope this has given you guys plenty of ideas on, you know, how to use the play. But, you know, go to practice mode, try to figure some stuff out. But you're free to obviously use the setups that I gave you guys. They're all good. They've all been tested, and you will have a lot of success with them. So, by the way, you don't need any extra routes. This is something you can run with pretty much any team as long as you got some speed. So, it's a great play. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Drop a like if you did. If you want the full scheme, like I said, acemadden.com. Also check out Fancy Scheme, which is the most high-powered offense in the entire game, and it's out of the same playbook that I'm using right now, so you can combine the tight doubles and the trips tight end. It's out of the same personnel as well. So that is it for the video. I'll see you guys later.